The easiest way to cut styrofoam is on a table saw. I had to put the floor in through the roof. I used great stuff to glue the styrofoam down, and wood glue and great stuff on top to glue the flooring down. That makes the floor very solid. The ceiling was 8-inch plywood with 2-inch styrofoam. Eighth-inch plywood in the back. Temporary props to support the plywood till it's glued to the styrofoam. Glued down with great stuff. I found you have to clamp the edges down real good or the foam will lift it. Roof has a good bit of curve to it to encourage water to run off. This is my truck.
It's a 2004 Nissan Titan crew cab short bed. According to the sticker in the door, it says combined weight of occupants and cargo should never exceed 1,104 pounds. That's not much carrying capacity. I was looking for a camper to put on it a couple of years ago, and I couldn't find a camper that weighed less than 1,300 or 1,400 pounds. So that's way over the carrying capacity. I built this camper and it came out at 850 pounds, entire weight including appliances. So that's within the carrying capacity of the truck. This camper has everything we need. It's a double bed overhead. We have the dinette up on the wing and a counter with a double sink and room for the refrigerator. It's not in here right now. Shelves for storage and an overhead fan and light. But it's very small. If we end up spending a lot of time in there, it gets pretty cramped, pretty crowded. Not really room for two people to even get up and walk around at the same time. We'd like a little bigger camper with a little walking around space and a bathroom and shower facilities. What I've started on here is a much bigger camper. I hope to keep it light enough to be within the carrying capacity of the truck. This camper has 1/8-inch plywood on the outside and 1/4-inch plywood on the inside. I thought the 1/4-inch plywood was necessary to actually carry the weight of the overhead. The roof of this camper is 2-inch styrofoam insulation with a 1/8-inch plywood glued to the outside and the inside. The walls are framed with 1x4s and then have 1/8-inch plywood on the outside and 1/4-inch plywood on the inside. The tub is just 3/4-inch plywood. This camper is 6.5 feet wide. The floor is 5.5 feet long, which fits in my 5.5-foot bed, and the tailgate closes on it. The overhang is just big enough for a full-size mattress. One strategy for saving weight was to build it small. Smaller just means less materials and therefore less weight. It would have been easier to unload if it had been 6 inches wider on each side. To make the jacks work where I could roll between them, I had to make a 6-inch extension on each side. So the jacks would have worked better if the camper had been bigger. This camper will be 8 feet wide and the floor is 8 feet long. So it'll hang off the back of the truck 2.5 feet. So what makes me think I can build a bigger camper and have it still not weigh anymore. So my strategy for keeping the weight down, two things I'm doing. One is all the lumber in it is cedar. Cedar weighs less than pine, and in some cases half the weight of pine. So that's saving considerable weight just building it out of cedar. For the roof, I've got the 2-inch styrofoam with the 1/8-inch plywood glued to the bottom side of it to make a ceiling inside. But I'm not going to put any plywood on the top of it. I'm just going to put the canvas and paint that I used for waterproofing on the other camper. I'm just going to put that directly on the styrofoam. And that cuts down on a little bit of plywood. I did put 1/8-inch plywood on the front for impact resistance. But as soon as I wrap the top there onto the roof, I'll stop the plywood and just have the styrofoam the rest of the way back. For siding, I'm just going to use pink styrofoam insulation, glued to the framing and covered with cloth and paint. The overhead is 5 feet deep, so it's wide enough for a queen mattress. It's plenty long enough from one side to the other for a mattress, and then some storage at the foot of the bed. The back left corner will be the shower or bathroom. The shower will probably just be a plastic tub on the floor and a shower curtain hanging all the way around it. I actually want to put the door on the side. So I'll cut out the framework here and enter from the side. It may seem like giving up some storage space to put the door on the side, but I don't think I want to carry any weight in the back anyway, just empty space. There will be a exhaust fan or vent in the back ceiling here. And I want to put a regular RV type air conditioner on the roof. So this beam right here at the front of the cabin is built extra heavy to support the weight. And basically I'll just balance the air conditioner on top of that and cut the opening for it actually here in the overhead. I want to get a chest type 12-volt refrigerator and put it in a drawer under the kitchen counter. That leaves more usable counter space. To start with, I may just use an ice chest in the drawer. And there will be no permanent water tanks. We just use water jugs for water, and a jug under the sink for gray water, and a chemical porta potty in the other camper, and that all worked fine. So we'll continue with that method for plumbing. I'll just sand the floor and put polyurethane on it, and that'll be lighter than any kind of flooring I could put in there. I've been weighing materials as I buy them, and so far everything I bought, which is all in the camper except for this little pile of lumber here and a couple of sheets of plywood there, so far everything I bought weighed 450 pounds. So at this point I'm assuming the camper weighs 450 pounds. I wanted to keep the weight down to about the same weight as the small camper. Will I be able to finish this camper and keep the weight down? So 450 pounds now, plus the styrofoam siding, a little more framing for the back wall and around the windows. And then I'll need a kitchen counter and the sink, the cushions on the dinette, mattress overhead, some very small, lightweight storage shelves. On the small camper, the canvas and paint weighed nearly 100 pounds. So we'll be adding 100 pounds worth of waterproofing on this one at least. I'm planning on 8 windows, and I don't know yet what they weigh, but I have to figure a couple 100 pounds of windows. I had 2 travel trailers given to me that had roof leaks to where they were so rotten they were not repairable. So I tore one of them down completely to the frame and sold the frame. I took all the windows and appliances out of it. But trying to keep the camper light, I probably won't be able to use any of the appliances except possibly the air conditioner. But I do have plenty of windows between the 2 campers that I've got. I'll have a window on either side of the overhead bunk area. We'll have one long window on either side of the cabin, one above the dinette and one above the kitchen counter. We'll have a small window in the bathroom wall. The door will be on this side, and there will be 2 or 3 windows on the back wall, one of them down low so that I can see behind me through my rearview mirror. So there will be a window at the front of the cabin also that matches up with the back window of the truck. I think that adds up to 8 windows. If I figured 25 pounds a piece for windows, that's 200 pounds of windows. So 450 pounds for what we've got so far, 100 pounds for waterproofing, 200 pounds for windows. That's up to 750. I'm not even counting the styrofoam siding, that doesn't weigh anything. And then the air conditioner on the roof weighs at least 85 pounds. So that's easily adding up to 850 pounds. So at this point, I'm not really optimistic about coming in within the 850 pound weight. If it goes much over that, I'll just be looking for a different truck.